Magandang hapon, Malacanang Press Corps. Welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, January 16. Dahil sa taas ng presyo ng bigas, inirekomenda ng National Price Coordinating Council sa Department of Agriculture na magdeklara ng Food Security Emergency. Ang rekomendasyon ng Food Security Emergency ay para payagan ng National Food Authority na ilabas ang kanilang buffer stock sa mga warehouse at patatagin ang presyo ng bigas bilang suporta sa ating mga magsasaka. Inaasahan din na ang paglabas ng buffer stock ay makakatulong sa papalapit na anihan sa Pebrero. Para ipaliwanag ang food security emergency sa bigas at ang epekto nito, kasama natin ngayon sina Department of Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel at Department of Trade and Industry Secretary Maria Cristina Roque. Good afternoon, Secretary Laurel and Secretary Roque. May we ask Secretary Roque first for your opening statement?
Good afternoon, MPC reporters. We are here today to clarify and to verify also the information that are out now in the news, and also we are here to answer the questions that you may want to ask us regarding the bigas and other details that you want to know from our department. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again to the MPC family also, and maybe I'll start with a statement siguro, no, just to clarify some possible questions. So under the amended RTL, the NPCC shall declare a food security emergency on rice based on the following conditions existing. 1. Supply shortage or extraordinary increase in price. During the last NPCC meeting, the DA presented data that showed that even with the tariff cuts and the world prices of rice going down, the retail prices have not gone down significantly. Thus, the current level of prices is extraordinary. The NPCC recognizes this condition in principle and agreed to recommend to the Secretary of the DA the declaration of food security emergency on rice. However, as the NPCC is recommendatory in nature, it would still be with the DA Secretary to make a declaration. As for the effects of the declaration, number 1, when declared by the Secretary, the NFA may sell its existing NFA rice buffer stocks in areas where there are or extraordinary increase in rice prices. NFA may sell its stocks to GOCCs also, DSWD, OCD, LGUs, and the Kadiwa program. This would allow NFA to free its warehouses also to be able to buy more palay in the next harvest season. The declaration of a food security emergency is a last resort or option for the DA. The DA Secretary has made other significant actions to lower the price of rice, such as the incoming MSRP for rice, the labeling rules na binabago natin, coordination with importers, retailers, and wholesalers. We coordinated with the Metro Manila mayors this morning, and coordination, of course, with other government agencies such as DTI, the police, the military, PCC, and among others. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Roque. You want to add, ma'am?
Yes, the NPCC approves the release of NFA rice buffer stock through Kadiwa centers. The Department of Trade and Industry announced today, January 16, 2025, that the National Price Coordinating Council has approved the resolution that will allow the DA to sell its NFA rice buffer stock through Kadiwa centers, local government units, partners, and other government agencies. This move is in response to the extraordinary price increase of rice observed since 2023, which continue to persist. The said resolution is being finalized and will be routed to the member agency. The DTI assures the public that it is committed to stabilizing rice prices and ensuring the accessibility of affordable rice for all Filipinos. The DTI will continue to work closely with the DA and other concerned agencies to implement measures that will address the current rice situation. So, the Department of Trade and Industry will monitor and will also enforce the price of rice in coordination with the price set by the Department of Agriculture.
Thank you, Secretary Roque and Secretary Laurel. We're now opening the floor to questions. First question, Ana Bajo, GMA News.
Afternoon, Secretaries. Tanong ko lang po kung nakausap na po natin si President Marcos regarding this. Ano pong reaction niya and what was his directives po?
Well, as of the moment, we're still waiting for the formal transmittal of the recommendation to the DA. Once I receive it, then of course I will consult also our president and for his comments. But as of the moment, this is live happening ngayon eh. So wala pang consultation tungkol doon.
Sir, ano po yung what prompted NPCC to push for this resolution since DA is always saying na enough yung supply, and in September of last year, you mentioned na mas mararamdaman yung pagbaba ng presyo ng bigas this January.
Well, oh yes, all of those statements are true, no? But now we are the DA is faced now with the NFA warehouses full. The NFA warehouses have almost 300,000 tons of rice. And harvest season is coming. And ang problema namin ngayon is we have to start buying rice. At kung wala kami mapaglagyan, problema kami technically. So we really have to dispose of this rice and under the RTL natin, we cannot dispose of it unless it's aging. But then yung aging, alam niyo naman may oras yan para namin magagawa yan. But we have to technically start really selling or distributing the rice we have dahil importante makabili kami sa farmers sa tamang presyo eh, no? At of course para ma-rotate din natin yung mga stocks.
Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. Next question, Eden Santos, Net25.
Good afternoon po, sir. Meron po ba tayong nakikitang dahilan para po magpatupad nitong food security emergency? At ano po ba yung mangyayari kung sakaling ito po ay maipatupad natin, itong resolution na ito? Sagot po ba siya doon sa problema natin na mataas na presyo ng mga bigas?
Well, definitely yung 300,000 na tons na nasa NFA warehouse ngayon, pag in-unload sa public yan, sa consumer yan, it should help also lower the price of rice in general, ano? Dahil it's additional supply to the market eh. I mean, to the loss of supply and demand, it is only but logical na bababa ng konti ang bigas.
So ano po yung mga rason para ma-implement po natin ito at pahintulutan po ng Pangulo?
As per the law naman ng RTL, it is really up to the DA Secretary to declare such and implement such, of course. But of course, as a cabinet member, I am under my boss is the president, so I have to at least tell him that this is what I plan to do.
Secretary, nakaka-receive po ba kayo ng mga reports na yung quality po ng bigas na ibinebenta sa mga kadiwa ng Pangulo, kadiwa centers, ay medyo hindi daw po maganda?
Well, yes, there are isolated cases na may may rice na may problema, but it's very, very, very minimal. You're talking about 5 kilos, 10 kilos, no, na nakikita. And pinadadala namin sa field rice yan to test. And so far, meron mga reports na meron siguro let's say out of one lot na 1,000 bags ng bigas, siguro may nabasang ilang sako, siyempre sa rami ng volume. So, of course, minor. But if you talk about the whole scheme of things, yung percentage, it's less than point something of a percent.
Next question, Clazel Perdilla, PTV.
Sir, good afternoon. How likely will the DA approve the national emergency recommendation, and when do you plan to implement it?
Well, as I mentioned, talagang punong-puno na yung warehouses ng and actually a group of Mindoro rice farmers, no, went to the DA 2 weeks ago, saying na punong-puno na niya yung warehouse nyo, paano kayo makakabili sa amin pag hindi nyo, so there is also that particular issue that we really have to face, to solve, no, and kailangan talaga namin ibenta.
Sir, kailan po dapat maibenta na?
Hopefully, once we receive the recommendation, we'll finalize the moves, no? Hopefully, first week of February, maano na yan.
Sir, sorry, last na lang po. Sir, sabi nyo, sana ma-influence yung market price. By how much po nito mapapababa yung prevailing price ng bigas?
Well, meron tayong sinet na MSRP, no? Yung MSRP na yun is at 58. That's the first step. It's a multiple attack to on the situation, ano? So meron tayong NFA rice, meron tayong MSRP starting at 58. Pero yung MSRP na yun na 58 will be reviewed every 2 weeks, and malamang ibababa natin yung MSRP na yun. As of the moment, there's a target of bringing it down to MSRP 52, 50 by end of February. Of course, pag pumasok yung NFA rice din na pumasok sa market, and mahirap magsabi eksakto, no, dahil you might quote me on that and use it against me in the future, but 3 to 5 pesos is really possible, in my opinion. Lalo na yung world prices din bumaba na rin ngayon eh.
Next question, Ace Romero, Philippine Star.
Secretary, in relation to the likelihood of you approving that resolution, given the circumstances, do you think there's enough justification to come up or to approve such a recommendation or resolution?
The data is very clear when we presented to the NPCC. Nung tumaas ang presyo ng bigas, world market, then tumaas din yung local price. Then nag-maintain siya hanggang ngayon eh. Pero nagbaba tayo ng tarifa from 35 to 15%. Hindi bumaba yung mga branded na bigas sa merkado. It maintained at 60 to 64 nakikita natin. So ibig sabihin sa MSRP 58 natin ngayon, ibig sabihin yung mga 64 na yun magiging 58 dapat yun. Yung mga 60 magiging 58. So technically it should be lowered talaga.
So in principle, pwede nating sabihin na may basihan po.
May solid data tayo na that shows na justified talaga to.
So connected po doon. So do we need that resolution to release the buffer since pwede naman palang ibigay yung price sa kadiwa, Secretary Roque?
Again.
Kailangan pa ba natin ng actual resolution na yun to release that buffer? Since we can transfer.
Ako nasasagot dun. Under the RTL law, hindi namin ma-release yun to anybody except during emergencies like calamities. So, ang delikado namin, ang rami nating bigas, hindi natin ma-release because of this problem, then there's a good chance mabulok yan. Diba? So, kailangan, we have to do something.
Last na lang po para sa akin. So, ano ba yung tinitingnan nating reasons? Bakit po kaya yung ine-expect nating pagbaba ng price hindi na-attain despite the interventions, despite the supply?
Well, in my opinion, medyo may konting profiteering in my opinion. That's a direct answer to that. Yung presyo na 62 na yun, dapat as of now, dapat 58 yan. Pero dapat after 2 weeks from now, dapat 55 yan. Dahil pababa ang world market prices. Unfortunately, it was set at 58 because the existing stocks natin ng imported rice natin na 5% broken was imported at that price and to parang margin. At saka yung bili ng ng rice mills saka traders ng palay in the last year was average of 27 pesos and as high as 30. Yung 30 pesos na yun, kung kumpitin mo ngayon plus the margins hanggang retail, 58 yun eh. Kung binaba natin masyado yan, ibig sabihin, pati yung local rice mills o yung local, na bumili ng local rice, malulugi. So we have to allow a little bit of time for them na signal na sa kanila, i-flush out nyo na yung old stocks yun na mas mahal para hindi kayo malugi.
So profiteering, hoarding, possible po.
No hoarding ako nakikita, it's more of profiteering.
Profiteering. Okay.
Next question, Harley Valbuena, DZME.
Sir, in line with the question of Sir Ace, ano naman po yung magiging action natin laban po dun sa mga nagpo-profiteer sa prices ng rice?
As of the moment, the DA actually has no powers. That's why we have been coordinating with the DTI dahil ang DTI may enforcement powers. So I will turn over the floor to Secretary Roque about enforcement.
The DTI will of course monitor and enforce the directive of the DA regarding the price. So from there, so far we haven't found anyone yet, but if in case meron, then we will act accordingly.
Ano po yung sanction na possible kaharapin ng
There's different sanctions, no? Usually we penalize them also with may pera na may money involved na dapat ibayaran nila for not following the price monitoring or the price given by the DA.
Meron din ako idadagdag. Kanina lang na pag-alaman ko through Mayor Zamora and Chairman Artes na ang municipalities pala and cities also have their NPCCs, then that they can also declare na ganito dapat ang presyo with their sanggunian and they can enforce. Just to add.
Sir, last question na lang po on my end. Are we considering increasing our rice imports given to alleviate po the extraordinary prices of rice?
No, there is no need to increase rice imports. We have just to temper the businessmen to magawing reasonable yung presyo nila while still maintaining profitability.
Sustain you, DZBB.
Good afternoon, Secretaries. Secretary Laurel, sir, sabi niyo kanina nakausap, may meeting kayo with the local Metro Manila Council, I understand.
Yes.
So, paano po ang naging pagtanggap nila dito sa plano na magbenta rin sa kanila ng NFA rice?
Well, ang initial reaction was very positive and we're quite happy na NFA will maglalagay ng kadiwa para sa mga and there was actually a recommendation na magdagdag pa kami ng mga mobiles para doon sa mga depressed areas and meron pang suggestion na pati sa munisipyo every 15th and 30th magbebenta. So yeah, this is a very positive response.
Sam Medinilla, Business Mirror.
For Sec Laurel. Sir, na-mention nyo kanina na isa sa reason kung ba't magde-declare ng food emergency yung parang overcapacity na ng mga warehouses ng NFA. Bali, ano po ba yung expected natin na ma-harvest na rice sa upcoming harvest season? At saka, wala po bang kinoconsider yung government to expand the capacity ng mga NFA warehouse?
The NFA is currently building more warehouses, and it's ongoing, and we should see some of the warehouses to be finished this year, As far as the other question, pakiulit mo lang.
Yung regarding po dun sa yung sa harvest po.
Okay, yung sa harvest natin, unfortunately last year, mababa yung harvest natin, almost 700,000 plus tons na palay less due to El Nino and La Nina. This year, if ma-restore yung amin budget na rice program na nawalan ng almost 10 billion. Pero last Monday, medyo nagawa na ng paraan ng ating presidente na ma-restore yun. I would like to thank the President, of course. We are targeting 20.460 million metric tons. Yun ang target natin. If ma-restore yung budget of 30 billion for the rice program.
Sir, follow-up lang po. Yung dun sa expected na mga warehouse na matapos this year, Ilang capacity po yung madadagdag nun dun sa kasi di ba ngayon overcapacity na yung 300,000 metric tons. So ilan po yung madadagdag kapag natapos yung mga ongoing na NFA work?
Hopefully another 50,000 tons. Yeah.
Christian Yusores, Radyo 630.
Just to clarify, yung 50,000 metric tons includes yung mga tinatayo namin ng DA na rice processing systems na may silos, no? For clarification.
Hi, Sec. Na-mention niyo po kanina na obvious na sa data na kailangan na rin nga pong aprubahan yung recommendation for food security emergency. Pero nabanggit din po ninyo na kailangan niyo pa rin itong i-consult kay President. So may chances pa rin po ito na hindi maaprubahan.
Maybe yes.
And then sir, na-mention nyo rin kanina na within the past years naman may mga efforts tayo to bring down the prices of the rice. Kasama na rin doon yung inaprubahan recently na Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act. May naging effect na po ba to sa pagbaba ng presyo ng bigas?
Well, yung Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act actually I don't think has an effect on rice prices, ano. But definitely it has an effect on the smugglers, no. Ang balita ko sa industry, talagang takot na takot lahat sa batas na to. And they should be, di ba? But on lowering of rice prices, I don't think hindi naman yun yung main purpose ng batas na yun.
Last na lang sir. So to clarify lang sir, kapag inaprubahan na po ng DA, kailangan po siyang ipa-approve kay President or hindi na po?
Hindi, by law, no.
Sa inyo na lang po mag-e-end yung approval.
Yes.
Thank you po.
Ann Saberano, Bombo Radyo.
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, just want to get your reaction lang. Kasi kahapon, sa Quinta Committee ng House of Representatives, iba-iba yung reaction ng ating mga congressman doon sa pagtakda ng 58 pesos na maximum suggested retail price. Sabi nila, hindi daw ito makatotohanan. At saan po daw nyo nakuha yung base nyo na 58 pesos po yung maximum suggested retail price?
Yeah, it is quite unfortunate na wala ako doon kahapon dahil pinatawag ako sa Malacanang, ano. I could have explained it better, I guess. But last night may nakausap ako mga ilang kongresista at pinaliwanag ko yung buong programa. Kasi 58 pesos is just the start of a program. No, it will go down and there is definitely hindi ako maglalagay ng isang figure without rational, no, the right rationale. As I said kanina, ang presyo ngayon ng ng 5% broken na pinaka-popular na imported rice was purchased at $700 to $720 per metric ton. Diba? Tapos ang palay naman na binili ng traders and rice mills na local was from 27 to 30 pesos for the last half of the year. No, except the last 2 months siguro na mas bumaba ng konti. That represents 58 pesos sa merkado, 'di ba? Pag binaba natin immediately yan to 55, ibig sabihin malulugi lahat. And we do not want a weak local rice system and the importers. But then it also gives them a signal, hoy, ito na kami. Ito na yan. After 2 weeks, ibababa namin yan. After 2 weeks, ibababa natin. It gives them time to it gives everybody time to renegotiate with the whole value chain, no? From importers to the suppliers from abroad, the farmer to the rice mill to the trader to the retailer, no? Ang sinasabi natin sa buong industriya, mag-usap-usap kayo, dapat ganito lang. Dito ito kita nyo. Huwag sobra. Kawawa naman ang consumer natin.
Pero how was the feedback po doon sa mga congressman na nakausap nyo? Kasi medyo sila doon sa 58 pesos po.
Well, I'm supposed to, they called me again next Wednesday and I think that will be an ample opportunity to explain it very well. But doon sa mga nakausap ko gabi, medyo naintindihan nila at I actually also consulted the private sector on this, ano, at nagpa-meeting kami with the retailers, importers, and with DTI, PCC, BIR, and everybody. No, this decision to peg it at 58 was not a decision that was made arbitrary. No, It is made through consultation and everything. But I have to admit, it is at the high price. But then, wag natin i-shock muna yung sistema. Let's bring it down gradually para, you know, give time to everybody to adjust.
Tuesday New, DZWB.
Secretary Laurel, sir. Sir, sabi niyo 300,000 tons yung kailangan i-dispose from NFA warehouses.
Yes, almost 300,000
Almost
tons.
300,000. Pagka na-approve na po ba itong reso, lahat ng 300,000 kailangan i-dispose and then papalitan ng panibagong harvest from the
Yes.
farmers?
Yes.
The same amount, sir, o kailangang...
Hopefully more kasi yung 300,000 na yun was based on, that's why we need more warehouses, and if we have to rent, we will rent. Ang average price nga last year natin ng palay was 27 pesos per kilo ang bili natin, 'di ba? So this year, kung mas mababa, kung ang set na price namin hopefully is 21 to 23, so we should be able to buy more rice from the farmers. At sa presyo na 21 to 23 pesos ang rice, happy pa rin ang farmer, no?
Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Sir, since nabanggit nyo na nanatili pa rin mataas yung presyo ng bigas despite the reduction in tariffs, do you see the need or will you recommend returning yung tariff rates natin to the original 35%?
Well, number one, kanina we were pleasantly not surprised but happy na nakita namin ni Sec Roque na yung sa Pasig Market, wala ka nang makitang 60. Bumaba na, meron na silang 40, meron pa kami nakitang 39 na 38 pala, which we did not see when we started going around So nagre-react na yung market, no? Yes, siguro ang sagot doon, meron, we're thinking of an idea na baka mahirap sabihin kasi baka mapintasan na naman, but I might recommend the hybrid na certain type of rice 15 pa rin, a certain type of rice or quality of rice yung 5% pwedeng iakyat sa 35, something like that, no?
Anong klase yung mga rice yun, sir?
Basically 5% broken and 25% broken. That's an idea, but and then there's also a clamor nga na from the industry na or the other organization na ibalik na sa 35. But I think we can only, pag bumaba na yung presyo talaga at sumunod lahat, then baka pwede na ibalik. No? But as of the moment, anyway, may review naman every 4 months So talagang pag-aaralan mabuti yan.
Ace Romero, Philippine Star.
Secretary, about the imports, just for background, ilan na ba yung na-import na rice for this year and for 2025? Ilan po yung volume?
Yung sa 2024, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 4.75. It's not 4.7, it's 7 something 4.74 million or 4.75 million, di ba? Pero you have to remember, no? Hindi yun ang naging ganon dahil bumili ang NFA at tinago 300,000. Kung hindi nagawa ng NFA yun, ibig sabihin, lalabas yan 4.4 lang. Something. Di ba? So, ang original estimate ko talaga from the start was actually 4.3 to 4.5 billion ang kailangan i-import So, ganun pa rin ang aking tingin for this year. Assuming hindi bumili ang NFA ng marami.
So for 2025, it will be
5 ang estimate
billion.
Assuming NFA does not buy rice for buffer stocking. Pero kung this year maka 400,000 ako, baka bumalik sa 4.7. Something like that.
Okay po.
Pero baka hindi kasi pag dinilis kong 300,000 to ngayon, then dapat, di ba? Although magtatago pa rin ako, so baka bumalik sa 4.5.
Just to clarify, no, the violation of the price ceiling is 5,000 to 1 million pesos.
Fine. penalty.
Eden Santos, Net 25.
Secretary, sa inyo pong pag-iikot sa mga palengke, meron na po ba tayong nakita na patunayan na talagang intentional yung pagtataas nila ng presyo ng bigas? Sabi nga kanina, profiteering yung isa sa mga dahilan. Bakit hindi pumapababa? At yung binanggit niyo pong punishment, kung sakali pong mapatunayan, iyon po yung kanilang haharaping parusa if in case po.
Meron talaga sa pag-iikot namin. But you have to also have to consider na may ibang nagbebenta ng bigas dyan, lalo na sa mga private markets. Ang taas masyado na renta nila. Diba? Yung public market, kanina, kagaya kay Mayor Vico Soto, magkano lang? 400 pesos lang yung isang 3 square meter na stall, up to 1,000 peso. Pero sa public market, may narinig kami, tanong na ang PNP pa nag-report na may stall doon, although mas malaki ng konti, 80,000 naman ang singil eh. So I think maybe we'll call on other government agencies kung sino man in charge dito na tignan din tong rental sa mga public markets kasi it will directly affect the consumers kung masyado mataas ang rental. No.
Clazel Pardilla.
Para po kay Secretary Roque, sabi po kanina may solid data dito. Saan po yung priority areas na dapat makapag-release po ng NFA? Maybe you can cite po yung cities.
Ako na lang siguro. Sa amin yung data. We checked, no? Definitely Metro Manila is the highest sa country sa same imported rice, no? Kung parehong imported rice, meron dito 62 to 64, 60. Sa ibang, let's say, Iloilo, nasa 58, 55 lang siya. No? So we're monitoring other cities and sa ngayon, we will start only with NCR but we're getting a lot of data now from all the major cities around the country and susunod-sunod na yan. Oo.
Ann Soberano.
Sir, tuloy po ba yung January 20 na effectivity po ng MSRP?
Yes.
Tuloy po?
Yes, tuloy.
Dito sa Metro Manila?
Yes.
Sir, bukod po doon sa imported rice, pwede din po ba ito, applicable po ba ito sa iba pang mga uri ng bigas? MSRP?
Sa local rice, we don't want to impose that as of the moment because kailangan sa akin mas importante kumita ang farmer natin Kasi yung planting intention mawawala I think naman pag na-temper tong imported, susunod din naman yung local ng konti, di ba? But let's kasi for me importation of rice is a privilege, it's not a right. So I think we should temper yung profitability ng sector na yun Pero sa local naman, pinaghirapan niya na i-plant, nangutang, nagprenda ng bahay, lupa. So I think iwan lang natin muna sila to conduct their business as usual.
Sir, Sec, anong asahan natin since ma-implement na po yung 58 pesos na maximum SRP, mag-stable na po ba yung presyo ng bigas sa Metro Manila?
Theoretically, yes, no. Of course, sometimes meron pa rin yung mga pasaway, but I think with the whole of government approach to address this problem, and even yung mga I call on the netizens and yung mga consumers, to report, Meron kaming lalabas na bagong hashtag bantay presyo, Picturean nyo, padala nyo doon sa hashtag na yon so that naka-react kami. We need everybody's eyes and ears on this. Thank you.
Sam Medinilla.
Sir, yung mention nyo na hindi pa sure kung magde-declare ng state of food emergency, ano po yung parang possible scenario in case na hindi po makapag-declare nun, ano po mangyari dun sa 300,000 metric tons na?
Well, kung hindi ma-declare yun, basically, we have to wait for it to age. Then meron naman, pag ang aged rice naman, pwede ibenta, kaya lang, aging depends on when we will mill it di ba? So, we have to fast-track milling and may delay lahat yung programa, yun ang problema. And problema namin, harvest season na di ba? Kung wala kayo may mabili sa farmer, matenga yung pera ng gobyerno, then kawawa naman yung farmer.
Ang follow-up dun, sir. Yung 300,000, kailan po expected yung maging age na to the point na pwede nyo nang ibenta kahit walang state of emergency?
As I mentioned, it only starts aging as rice when we mill it. So, sa ngayon, honestly, out of the 300,000, maybe, don't quote me, but a rough estimate is maybe 50,000 lang ang na-mill eh. Diba? So, pero ngayon may order na kami sa NFA na email na lahat yan. No? So, sa ngayon, ang estimates na nakita ko kanina, we can release 25 to 30,000 tons of rice per month.
Thank you po.
Before we wrap our briefing, do our secretaries have any closing statement or last statement before we end?
The DTI main has already deployed, or we've already spoken to all the DTI offices in all the regions all over the country to stand by and to be ready for the prices that will be given by the DA, so that we can now monitor and we can enforce those that don't follow the price mandated by the Department of Agriculture. So they're very aware of this already. The Department of Trade is really monitoring other prices, basic goods and prime commodities. So we will include the rice prices based on what the Department of Trade has set.
Sa DA naman, we will be coming out also with revised labeling requirements para sa takal-takal natin, para yung consumers hindi mabola at hindi ma-influence ng the term premium, special, pero pare-pareho naman sila lahat, at mga brands na pare-pareho naman sila lahat. So that should give our consumers also a better basis of buying the rice by the actual look, smell, and feel of the rice, at yung pagluto, hindi sila na-influence ng mga brand or statements of na mas maganda to sa isa pero hindi naman. So, doon tayo papunta. Then, once the labeling is implemented properly, then we will be implementing naman MSRP per type of rice. Doon na papasok yung gusto ng Kongreso na yung 25% broken, baka maging 45 yan. Yung ganitong 5% broken, mas ma-educate lahat ng mas mabuti, and magkakaroon ng standard sa market na mas madaling ma-monitor nating lahat. Yun lang. Thank you.
At dito na nagtatapos ang ating press briefing ngayong araw. Maraming salamat, Secretary Roque and Secretary Chu Laurel.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Malacanang Press Corps.